everyone, and welcome to It's Our House podcast. You've got me, Faz. We've got Dees. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, really good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. And Mr. Lawson is up in the Highlands. How are you, pal?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad. Where are you?
Lovely place of the world, Scotland. I am up not far from where they filmed Skyfall for James Bond. So where they had the last scene and they're walking up at Glencoe, just not far from there. So beautiful
Nice.
part of the world, beautiful. It's the thing about Scotland, it's got everything. It's just the best country in the world. I keep saying it.
Apart from your leader. Let's just get that right.
Well, yeah, okay.
Right, before we proceed with this week's show, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. We are sponsored by Mystery Wrestling Shirts, and you can find them on Instagram and Facebook. Just head over and quote IOH Pod 10 for 10% off on all of our orders. So,
are you sure that's right, man?
Yes, I double checked.
Yeah, got it right this week, yeah.
So yeah, we were meant to have Danny this week. Unfortunately, due to time issues and things, we've had to rearrange. We will get him on at some point, we do promise. But what we decided to do this week was talk about this week's wrestling. Last week we did the awards. We had a lot of feedback. Some people not happy with our male superstar of the year, might I add.
What?
They wanted Moxley, and they put about 15 tweets out. So we spoke why, didn't we? We spoke.
Listen, I'm the W boy here, and even I agree it was Drew McIntyre. Fair enough, he's Scottish. Fair enough, he's a Rangers fan. But still,
there was no other choice in our eyes.
Can I ask a question? But Faz, what's that behind you in the background there, pal?
Oh yes,
that's very nice.
This is our new logo. It's our house. We've had it made. Unfortunately, to Mr. Deez's detriment.
Much to my chagrin, yes.
We've had to change our logo because possibly in the future, you know, we do actually, and it's on T-shirts now. Our Pro Wrestling Tees. You can get our logo on your T-shirt, but because of the way the old one was designed, it was kind of similar to in your house. Yeah. So we had to get a change just for the future, just so we don't get any pushback. So yes, have a look at it. Go over, order. We've got 3 on there so far, and we will be.
It's pretty. It's beautiful. Move out the way.
It is
Because you're ruining it. That's it. Just stay there all episode.
Yeah.
What did we call him? We gave him a name, didn't we? I can't remember what I gave him a name.
There you
gave
go.
a mad Mexican name, didn't you? And it meant.
It was.
Didn't it mean like Dark Jaguar or something like that?
I like it.
Yours was. I was on like Pink King.
You were the Pink King.
Pink King. Seriously.
Somebody was a dead cobra or something like that.
I think that was Faz. I'm trying to figure out when this was. I did.
Mine was the coolest name, wasn't it? Apparently. You'd like mine?
Yeah, it was. Like, I have to say, Faz's was the coolest name. You carry on. You do. I'll find this, and you carry on.
You crack on, Faz.
Right.
Found it. No, found it.
Go on.
It's Hurricane Moreto. That's his name.
Yeah, Hurricane Moreto.
Which apparently translates to Hurricane Dead. So that's
there you go.
Not very
dead.
Positive.
Beautiful.
Right?
So yeah, it's on all our social media platforms now. We've updated it everywhere. It should be on the podcast. Your logo should change on there, and on YouTube we've changed it. So, you know, let us know what you think. Is it good? Because we improve. We're always looking for feedback. Even if you say it can improve, we'll tell you to go and do one. So let's move on to our first news piece of the week. We shall talk about Mr. Shane Taylor on Final Battle.
Yeah.
There was a lot of changes due to COVID. But the man came through, possibly in line for a shot at the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. What do you think about that, boys?
So I text you. I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? What's going on? You're supposed to have a 6-man tag. I was expecting him to walk away with a 6-man with SOS and make Shane Taylor have the goal that he so rightly deserved to have. Saying to me that Benito and Flamita, I might be wrong with that, apologies, they tested positive for COVID, so they, in his words, so they couldn't make it to defend them, and winning them via forfeit isn't how we roll, and I totally understand that. So positive was the fact that he had a good match against. It was a really good match by the way against Jay
Very
Briscoe.
good match.
And let's be honest here, Jay Briscoe is a legend. You know, he was.
Yep.
He genuinely is. He's one of the best to lace the boots and go into the ring. At the end of it was nice with the wee handshake. You know, greatness representing greatness. That's what, or greatness respects greatness. Sorry. And obviously then with Brody King not being successful for the Ring of Honor World Championship, I genuinely believe that this should mean that our man, the baddest of all time, Shane Taylor, should be in line for that Ring of Honor World title. That's my opinion,
100%.
anyway.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, he's proven himself for years, hasn't he? Made the Ring of Honor TV title relevant, more relevant than probably anybody else in the company has. We've spoken about it many times. We speak about Shane basically every episode, no matter what we're talking about. It always comes back round to him, you know. What he's done with Shane Taylor Promotions is incredible. As much as I would have been happy to see him be part of the 3-man tag champs, you know, I think he's just at that next level already, isn't he? He deserves to be there.
And actually, I mean, let's be honest. If they win it brilliant. I hope they do as well. I hope, like we keep saying at Shane Taylor Promotions, I hope they get as much gold as they can. But also at the same time, I think SOS kind of need to have the tag team titles because they are, for me, one of the best tag teams. Not just in Ring of Honor. We said this last week. They're one of the best tag teams out there, and they're not really as well known, but they really should be. And that's no disrespect to Ring of Honor again. But Shane does deserve the singles push that he needs because he is so damn good, man. Yeah, and he is. And anyone that's not seen a Shane Taylor match, please go and watch one because especially that one, Final Battle, the guy can move, the guy can do everything, and it's like limitless with the whole Keith Lee thing. You know, when they were together, they were brilliant. They were bad. You know, they were really bad. They worked so well together.
Yeah, and the future looks bright for everyone in the promotion, including ourselves, because we are members of STP, as proven. And as Mr. Lawson has mentioned last week, I think, or the week before, we will be having the full crew on, hopefully with some gold around those shoulders soon enough. So, yeah, good luck, Shane.
I can't wait, man. It's going to be absolute chaos. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we won't be able to talk. We won't be able to talk.
Just let them go. Just let them go.
I'm literally going to have to say, look, it's going to have to be one, and then one, and then one.
Yeah.
It's going to be
gonna happen. Not going to happen.
You've got to have Ron and Shane. Nah, no danger. They're going to take over.
But yeah, big shout out to Ring of Honor Final Battle. Great show, especially with everything that went on with the COVID and the change of plans. We're all living in a world where nothing's certain at the moment, but you know, the one certainty is that Shane Taylor Promotions will continue to get the bag.
You know what's good though is everyone's talked about like Impact and WWE and AEW, you know, but they've got kind of the TV rights and all the rest of it. They're seen on, you know, national. Ring of Honor don't have that yet. They still produced an amazing show, and it was such a good show. I'm genuinely, mine's went blank here. But I'm just looking at the lineup here just now. Like they generally did have a fucking good show. Rush defeated Brody King. Jonathan Gresham, by the way, is fucking amazing.
Yeah, man.
Get him on the pod.
Champion.
Get him on
Definitely
the
get him on.
I would love to have him on the pod because he is so good. That's the thing. We talk about, remember, Deez, you were saying as well about Ring of Honor. Why do we I think we mentioned it last week as well. Ring of Honor is the future.
It is.
The Instagram post I did, explaining people say, oh, why are you always getting Ring of Honor talent? Or not that it's a problem. It's never a complaint. It's just a few people have been curious, like, oh, you're not aiming for any like higher than that. And I was like, well, that's first of all disrespectful to Ring of Honor because you know there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. We wouldn't be talking about it in the first place if there was, but it's just because, like you say, and we always say they're the future. Look how many great Ring of Honor talents have gone on to do not necessarily bigger things, but moved over to like NXT and moved over to WWE main roster and stuff like that, and become household names as an AEW and become household names because of Ring of Honor. But it's not just a stepping stone. You know, there's people there that are like the Briscoes have been basically lifers there, haven't they? And they could have gone anywhere by now because they are good enough. Yep. People have been crying out for years for them to join the WWE main roster on either show, but I don't think they need to unless it will purely be for money, and they clearly don't need that. They want to be somewhere where they're respected and positioned well and where they can just do their own thing. You know, you can't do that in WWE anymore. You haven't been able to for years.
No.
The thing as well about Ring of Honor that I love is that, remember the whole kind of, well, they still have that connection with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then when they had the Bullet Club and all that, that was all Ring of Honor. Remember, like Adam Cole, people were saying, I've said like I put a tweet out about Adam Cole against Johnny Gargano for
Mania.
WrestleMania. People are like, oh no, you should replace Gargano with AJ. We'd love to see that match. That was in Ring of Honor. They've done a match. It was fucking amazing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like that's where it all comes from. Like, these people go there because that's where you want to. It's not a start. It's a platform.
Yep.
That's the way to describe it. It's a platform to be showing what you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like going back to Shane, brilliant match. Great opponent as well. And Jay, remember he's a 2-time Ring of Honor champion as well. So he's no like a little pussycat.
No, that's big thing. Big thing.
I think Rush has got to be his next opponent anyway, in my opinion.
Hope so. You hope so. He's got to see what the future brings. But next, we'll move on to another person who's been on our pod, the legendary Casanova Valentine. He's back doing his artwork. If you want to head over to his Twitter and see what he's doing.
Cass, drop me up an own heart one, mate. I want my own heart one.
He wants his own art one. He's a legend. He makes all his own posters, all his own, all his merch for his matches. He's just a top guy. Unfortunately, he's injured and broken his arm. He was meant to perform, I think, last week, and he had to put out a tweet saying he wasn't able to. But we all wish him well here at our house, and we look forward to definitely seeing you back on the pod. And
you are correct, Cash. Your hand is fucked up.
Royally fucked up, man. Nasty. Sounds nasty.
But yeah, we wish you all the best, mate.
Have you seen the Ultimate Warrior one that he's done?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, the zombie one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. Like,
absolutely class. Love it.
He's done a Heart Foundation one as well. It's really, really good. Listen, we're not just saying it because he's doing the show, but Cass's artwork is amazing. It genuinely is amazing. Phenomenal. If you're a wrestling fan, check it out because it is so cool, the stuff he does. He genuinely does has a proper talent for what he does there.
And he said they're massive as well, aren't they? They're not small pieces of art.
No, fucking hell no. Huge. The size of your wall. Massive.
So we'll move on to Mr. Lawson's prediction next. He's been having a one-to-one with our good friend Gary on Twitter, saying that AEW.
Get well, Gary. Gary is in hospital, by the way.
Oh, is he? Is he all right?
Gary. He messages me today saying, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to be on your show." We're like, "Well, you weren't going to be in it anyway, so it's fine."
Yeah, we wish him well. Another one. He made a bet with Mr. Lawson saying that AEW would not hit 1 million views, while Lawson would.
I want a recount, by the way, because that's I'm going full Donald Trump here. I want a recount.
Yeah, I think it was 900 something thousand.
995,000. They were 5,000 short of 1 million. This wasn't last week. It was a week previous to that we had the bet on. But I generally want a fucking recount.
Yeah, and even NXT went up to like 770 something.
Yeah, really strong showing for NXT. But like you say, that was the week before for AEW, and then straight back down to 800,000, which is still a great number, and it still beat NXT. But it just goes to show, like, I always say this, like, as wrestling fans, we live for the moments. We live for the surprises, the returns, those big pops, those big moments. If you give us them every week, then they're not big moments anymore. Like, Sting should be used sparingly. He doesn't need to be on TV every week. And the thing is, like, they announce him as well. So if you're not, they're like, oh, Sting to appear tonight on Dynamite. And if you're not that bothered about Sting, you've probably alienated another couple of viewers. You know, I don't know. I like Sting. I respect Sting. It works for you, but it worked for 195,000 less people than it did the week before. You know, so.
But no, what I mean was that appearance from Sting and Darby Allin in the crowd, that was just so cool. Just Darby Allin in that scenario is, I think for him, he can only grow here because he's a great talent as it is. And if he's going to be teamed up with Sting, which it does look like, you know, the whole Cody and Sting and Darby Allin, you know, trio, whatever you want to look at it, he's going to be fantastic going forward. And that whole, I don't know, it kind of had that Sting-esque, just sitting in the crowd, didn't even say anything, just looking over, that whole mystic speed, that appearance. I was brilliant. Really did. I enjoyed it. Did.
If he's gonna mentor Darby Allin, I'm all for that. But like we said last week, or maybe the week before, don't need to see him wrestle.
No, don't know.
He's past it. No offense to him, but he is past it. He's like, what, 61 is it? I think he is 62, something like that.
Yeah.
It's just no need for it. I'll never forget Ric Flair wrestling way too many years after like his sell-by date, and it was just hard to watch.
Yeah. I think, and going back to Darby Allin, as you said, Lawson, I think the future it definitely is him, and they're definitely building him as the next Sting, as it were. Yeah.
MJF.
So I think what they might do as well is push you'll see like the face paint fully across eventually.
Yeah, like take him over, yeah.
And that'll be his turn, but he needs to get rid of those stupid short legging things. I can't stand them. Every time I see him, I just see a 90s skater boy, and I'm like, nah, man, just change it.
But what's good about that is, the reason I'm saying MJF is because AEW for a while have been slated because they say they're going to bring in their own talent, and all they've really done is progress MJF. Whereas by doing this now, I think if they're going to do this sporadically, that's good because you can really focus. Because let's be honest, MJF has made it. He's the main event.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. It'll take a lot for him to come down, if that makes sense. So now they're going to put all their attention on somebody else. So it's going to look like it's going to be Darby Allin. Who's it going to be next time? Don't know. We've got a massive people they could be looking at. But no, I'm really excited for it. I'm a huge Darby Allin fan. It was good for him to get a TNT title anyway. I was a bit skeptical about that title. I think it's an ugly title, and I really do think it's ugly. But
it is fucking horrible.
I like the idea of it. I like it's kind of the secondary title where, like the old Intercontinental, not now, but like I'm talking like Mr. Perfect years and that, where that was the title to move you on to the next title. And it does have that feel about it. Where remember I said last year, I feel a lot of the AEW stuff is like the 80s feel, from when Dusty was in place, and I think that's another example of what I mean by that. The TNT title has that feeling of being the next step to become the AEW title, and let's hope that for Darby Allin that's the case.
Yeah, 100% it should be.
Yeah.
Next, we'll move on to Monday Night Raw, the worst probably show of all wrestling at the moment.
Do we have to?
The news and the rumors are that the USA Network are not happy with the 1.4 million viewers they're getting every Monday, and that's a massive drop. I think at their lowest it was 2.2 or something, and that's when Triple H and Vince and all that said it was in our hands now and it was going to be for us, and then it just went even further down. So what can they do, lads? What can they seriously do to change Monday Night Raw? Because SmackDown works, NXT works. What is it with Raw that they're just getting wrong?
It is startling, isn't it? The difference between Raw and SmackDown when they're only like 4 days apart from each other. I don't know if it's things obviously changed when Bruce Pritchard came back and got involved, and he was running both shows for a while. I think at the minute he's doing Raw, isn't he? Yeah. I think it's just too much for him. It's too much for him. It's producing 5 hours of TV within 5 days of each other is a lot. I think honestly, and I fucking hate myself for saying this, just end the brand split. What's the point? Just end the brand split. Let them go from show to show.
That means you're then, but then you're going to drop a full roster by doing that. You know what I mean? Because in theory, you're going to have to lose half your full roster because you've got 2 rosters just now. If you combine them and you've got 5 hours, your Roman Reigns and your Drew McIntyre are still going to be the main focal point of each show. So then you've got your mid-cut, and then WWE will just get slated for that.
Yeah, but with WWE, the opinion of the fans doesn't matter, does it? If they're just trying to get ratings, if they just want to get numbers back in, Roman Reigns, with everything he's doing on SmackDown, jumping over to Raw and jumping into a program with, I don't know, probably not Drew again, but I don't know, who else is there up there? Roman versus Lashley or something like that? Roman versus Hurt Business? I don't know. If Roman's going to build this sort of like tribal chief faction, you could put him against someone like the Hurt Business. I would tune into Raw for that. It's not what I want them to do. I like the brand split. SmackDown's been incredible because SmackDown's got arguably the lesser roster other than Roman. Certainly once Roman came back, it improved. But in terms of top names, really, they've just got Sasha outside of Roman. You take him out of the equation, and yet it's still consistently the better show.
Yeah,
and there's guys missing. Like, what is Aleister Black on Raw now?
No, SmackDown.
He's just gone.
He's on SmackDown, yeah, but he's just gone since Zelina Vega left.
Yeah.
So you've got guys like him not even being used.
Andrade and Charlotte, are they on?
Seth's missing, and Seth's obviously a massive name. Yeah, they're due to be coming back apparently. But the odds are on for Charlotte to be the mystery partner tonight for Asuka.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Be a cool way to bring her back. They need to bring Andrade back as well.
With her bigger boobs.
Yeah, even bigger than before.
see my issue with it. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt, but see my issue, right? Is and it's no secret. Fox have said they want an edgier show, and they've put a lot of money into SmackDown because they took a lot of. It was a big contract they got to bring them over, and they've just ran with it. It's been brilliant. Let's be honest. It has been. It's been the best show out there. My biggest problem with Raw, right, and I've said this previously, is they have got, since the split happened in 2002, 2003,
something like that, yeah.
It's arguably the best roster they have got. It's Raw. With the amount of talent they've got in that and over there, how can they not be doing something right? And you were saying what's SmackDown doing and what's NXT doing differently to what Raw is, and I hate being that person that's saying it, but it's Vince. It has to be Vince, because Triple H, we all know, is the full control of NXT. Yep. He pretty much is the Vince McMahon of NXT, and we see what he does with there, and it has been fantastic. SmackDown, like I say, they've given the rules that they wanted to make it that little bit edgier, that little bit different, and Raw doesn't have. Raw's not doing that, and Raw's got 3 hours, which means, and they brought in the 24/7 championship. They brought in Raw Underground to boost the third hour. Man, see, when I was growing up, the third hour was the best.
Yeah.
That was when the Stone Cold that came out. So what's the
And it reflects badly on the champion as well, because obviously Drew is 9 times out of 10 headlining that final hour. Yeah. That's when the ratings have gone down the most throughout the whole night. That's where they've dropped, and that's what's brought down that average. Just get rid of that third hour. I know they're not going to do it because it's all TV deals and it's all money and advertisements in that last final third hour. Especially if you're tuning in for the end of the show to see something big happening, and whatever them adverts are, they're going to be like their prime, biggest money-making adverts. But that third hour kills me, man. I very rarely watch Raw live. If I'll catch up with it the next day, if I'm just watching it through, I don't know, a stream or whatever, I'm fast forwarding through a lot of that third hour just to see how the show actually ended like the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, last 20 minutes.
The finish to the match. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot watching 3 hours. There are not enough hours in the day to watch how much product they are putting out. We've been saying it for years.
And what really pisses me off is TLC's tonight. So if you're watching it whenever TLC's happened, that's 3 hours. Why is Raw the same length? In fact, if not, TLC's less.
Point, wasn't it?
Sometimes TLC, or not TLC, I mean pay-per-view in general, with the exception of your famous four, is like 2 hours 45, 2 hours 40. Yeah. So why is it less than Raw?
Yeah, no breaks. No, it's none of that really. There's no advert breaks, is there? Because it's on the network.
No.
This
might come as a shock, but I'm not a TV executive, so I don't really fully know how these. I know, right? I don't fully understand how these things work and the deals and what exactly is within that contract and what USA ask of WWE and ask of Raw. But the basic maths of it is NXT does well because it is 2 hours. There are only 2 hours to average. SmackDown does well because there were only 2 hours to average. You eliminate that third hour because for the first and the second hour of Raw, they tend to get something like, it normally starts at like 1.9 or 1.8 million, drops to about 1.7. That last hour is sometimes as low as like 1.3, 1.4. So that's, the first 2 hours are fairly consistent.
Yeah.
Just chop off that third hour. I'm sure USA can fucking find something to put on for an hour on a Monday night. And it makes everybody happy.
But they're always competing with the football, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, Monday Night Football, yeah. It hurts.
WWE from the Vault. Remember those programs? They were brilliant.
Yeah, I used to love them.
Or a 24 episode, like the new Keith Lee one and the Drew one. That they are normally about an hour.
Drew Stone Cold tonight, by the way. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, you're going to be class.
Staying up for that. Right. So when it comes to Raw and the USA Network, I think the only thing that the lads and we can really say is get rid of that third hour, put more emphasis on the storylines and the talent, let them run, because as we said, SmackDown's got arguably a less roster minus the two big stars in the show, but they still consistently smash it every week. So Raw, you seriously need to look at it.
Do you know who I blame, by the way? John Laurinaitis, because he made it the Super Show. Wank.
Yes. You're just making it cheesy, aren't you?
See, the thing is as well, though. See, if you do bring it to a 2-hour show for Raw, it's going to make everyone in that locker room fight harder. Exactly. To get that, make sure that they're on the telly, and that's competition can only be a good thing. Especially in that business.
Yeah. It's going to hurt a lot of the talent, and let's be honest, it's going to hurt a lot of the women because they already don't get much time. The only thing we're really seeing in terms of the women at the minute on Raw is this whole tag situation, Asuka, Lana, Nia, and Shayna. So, the women's title on Asuka hasn't even got its own, it's not even being showcased because it's in the middle of a tag team feud.
Just scrap that tag. I'm not a fan for the women's tag. And
that's they haven't been booked well. They're garbage.
See, when you have Iconics and you split them up, that just defeats the purpose.
Just to put them into other tag teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we haven't even seen Peyton Royce since.
No.
Says everything.
No.
But I mean, even SmackDown had 3 women's segments this week. They had the Riot Squad that they were on, then Bayley, Bianca Belair, and then Sasha Banks and Carmella. So again, it's what fans want, and Raw really start needing to look at what fans are looking at and adapt accordingly. And if the USA Network is pushing for that, we will start seeing some changes hopefully over the next coming months. But we'll move on to the best of all the shows, SmackDown, and we'll talk about Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. What do we think about this storyline, guys? Kevin Owens is getting battered every week. He's my boy. I love Kevin Owens. But, I mean, have you seen the Talking Smack segment with Paul Heyman?
I'm up in the Highlands, by the way. I'm up in the Highlands. I'm lucky to get fucking Channel 1.
Well, we'll tell you, Mr. Lawson, this week...
I've not seen this week's SmackDown.
They basically spent an hour and a half just putting Kevin Owens through anything. Tables, chairs, ladders.
I seen last week's when he was trying to find Roman and they ended up going through a table.
This week by 3.
This week the tables were on him, as were the chairs, as were the ladders, as was the fucking carpet, as was anything that they could find was just on. They literally, in the other sense of the word, buried him. But it just made for a really cool graphic, really cool visual, and then he got back up at the end and did his, usual. I'm Kevin Owens. You're gonna have to kill me if you want to put me down. And only Kevin Owens could pull it off, but Kevin Owens could literally pull off fucking anything because he's incredible.
I was going to say, Roman can literally squash Kevin Owens and he'd still walk away strong.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And honestly, if no one's seen it, look at the Talking Smack segment this week. He comes out after and he talks to Paul Heyman, and he doesn't even give Paul Heyman a chance to speak, and he owns that segment for 2 minutes. Absolutely owns it.
We done last week our awards, and we gave, I still think rightly, Chris Jericho the award for but we never actually mentioned Kevin Owens when I think about it, and he is so good in the mic.
Yeah,
he's so good in the mic.
I think it's one of them where when the pandemic hit, he went off after WrestleMania, didn't he? Hit his ankle.
That's right.
He got injured, and then he
couldn't come back. He couldn't come back
because his granddad, and his granddad got sick with COVID, and he refused to come back until everyone outside the ring and stuff started putting masks on. So when his return came, he was more in the ring, and he was doing just a Kevin Owens show over and over and over again. And then he got involved in the Seth Rollins stuff, but not dominantly. But now he's in the main picture on SmackDown, and
he should be.
Yeah, we follow a lot of people on YouTube. We look at a lot of videos. We're scouring social media every day, and the thought process is there for every single person. Kevin Owens is massively underrated and massively overlooked.
I hope the issue right now is he can't take the belt off Reigns. He can't.
No, that's the problem.
No.
That belt will stay on Reigns till WrestleMania, 100%, right?
Yeah.
So the question is then, what is next for Kevin Owens? I mean, he rightly should be going for a title, but in my opinion, he should rightly have the title.
Yeah.
Well, look who's on the same show as, again, look who's been reunited with Sammy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Owens as maybe I don't know if he'll be the next Intercontinental Champion, but I could certainly see him in the mix with Sammy and Big E. I'd rather see it be Big E. I don't think Big E's going to be, you know, Roman's too hot right now. Big E is probably going to be our next Universal Champion, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like you said, Roman's going to hold it until at least WrestleMania. Big E deserves it. Big E has worked hard for it. Big E could carry the title well, but I don't see any believable situation in where Roman drops it. You know, look at everything that they've done these last few weeks with Owens. They've tried to position him and build him up into a thing where you're thinking, oh, actually, maybe, you know what, he could actually beat Roman. Because we've seen him as the world champion before. We've seen him on top of the pile. You know, Roman can't be invincible forever, but because he's got Jay there with him, then, you know, that puts things in Roman's favour. Yeah, I think what's next for Owens is hopefully he doesn't move too far down the card. You know, they're still, as much as Sammy hasn't exactly done wonders with the Intercontinental Championship, it's still being prominently featured on the show.
I think he's done well. I think
his booking hasn't been great, but Sammy is very much like Kevin Owens. Anything that he touches will turn to gold. Yeah, Sammy's incredible. We're not seeing him wrestle nearly as much as we should. He's far too good a wrestler to be hiding under the ring. And I know it's all the slimy heel persona and it's the chicken shit heel sort of thing, like you know, and he does it great. He does it so well, but I want to see Sammy wrestle more, and we know that Sammy and Kevin Owens can put on fucking bangers, so, you know, hopefully that's the way it goes, for me, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult either way, as you said. He either suffers or he benefits from this, but to be honest, I think he'll take some time off probably after this. I think he's been consistent since he came back, and it might just be a case where they write him off telly for a month.
That's not, you know what, I'd love for him to go back to NXT.
Yeah, he wants to go back. Triple H wants him back.
If Adam Cole's coming the other way,
which we'll come to later on. We'll come to that later on.
Later on.
Ah, but I think remember he came back to War Games in last season. It was
amazing.
Yeah, loved it. Okay, so we'll move on to our next bit of news, which is Otis beating Shinsuke Nakamura clean in a 2-minute match. Twitter was not happy at all. Mr.
I don't think Stuart's happy.
Back.
No.
I mean, it's hard, isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not moving from here. No.
It's hard. It's really difficult doing it because Shinsuke.
You wouldn't get that in AEW. That's what I'm saying.
You wouldn't. Shinsuke at any point could effectively walk away from WWE. I know his contract's delayed and stuff, but he could effectively walk away. So he's willingly getting put into these situations. And a few people on Twitter even said, "Is he just happy to take the money until he can go home?"
The only reason he's still there is because WWE is based in Florida and he loves surfing. That's it.
AEW's down the road.
Fair enough.
Nah, listen, it really annoys me with Shinsuke Nakamura because he is unbelievable. If he can hold the New Japan, the IWGP World Champion, there's no fucking reason why he can't hold a match at winning. And you know, I was so excited when he won the Rumble. So excited because I thought, you know what? They're actually doing it. They're actually giving credit to where credit is due. And then it was faced off with AJ Styles, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be insane. And it wasn't.
Yeah. Fucking awful. Because they had a rivalry built around kicking each other in the bollocks. That was literally it. The most WWE thing that they could possibly do. Make it about testicles.
But 2 years earlier, I think it was, they main event at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, but things that happen outside of WWE don't happen.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though. That's genuinely Vince saying we're better than anyone else, and that is not the case. It really isn't the case. And like I say, like I am a huge Nakamura fan. I don't like the whole extravagant way he does things, and like all this. It's a bit like Kenny. I think Kenny Omega is the same. He does all these things, and I thought, Ken, what? That's not believable. But you're amazing at what you do. If that makes sense, it kind of works.
Yep.
But I just thought it's actually disgusting watching him. It really is.
Yeah. To see even him and Cesaro, to see them just being underused and underutilized.
Cesaro doesn't bother me. I'm gonna get I'll make the heat for this, but Cesaro does not bother me because I don't see him as a champion.
No,
I
he's
really
not.
don't.
He's not a champion, but he can still. He's that one who should be on every week. You know, building up, pushing the start because he is good at things. He can carry. Yeah, but he can carry a match, and I think that's the thing. He can carry.
I'll come to Cesaro in a minute because there's a lot we can say about Cesaro. Nakamura, yeah, I completely agree with Stu. Incredible talent. I was thrilled when he won the Rumble.
Another week, you've agreed with me. Wait there now.
I don't know what's going on. Just give me a few minutes, all right, and I'll take on something else. We haven't properly discussed AEW yet.
Feet in the Highlands. Come on.
Right, so you both know I love Jinder. And I don't do it ironically. I don't do it just for fucking Twitter. I love Jinder Mahal.
Where did that show? You
right, no. Just bear with me. By the way,
sorry, wait a minute. News just in. Also, he likes the New Day.
Shh, that's a secret. Nobody knows that. Right, I love Jinder mainly for the gif of him dancing. Obviously, that's my favorite thing in the world. But like, he came back, he reinvented himself, he got fucking jacked, and I know it was arguably steroids, but whatever. And we all also know why he was positioned where he was positioned because of the deal in India and them wanting to break into that market. Nakamura is also, obviously, from another part of the world, another continent, a continent where WWE could do with making more fans because over there, NJPW is like a fucking religion.
Yeah.
Imagine if you put a Japanese guy as the WWE champion, the Universal champion, whatever he might have been. That would do wonders for Japan. But they killed him. They killed his momentum. They killed his character. They killed his talent when they had somebody who, let's be honest, was a fucking glorified jobber in Jinder, who was in the right place at the right time. And it pains me to say that because I genuinely do like Jinder. I liked him all the way back at 3-Man Band. I like the whole Sharty stuff that he was doing when he came back a couple of years ago. But it's just a very WWE thing to do, isn't it? It's just once again they didn't listen to the fans.
With your argument about being over in Japan, look at one of my favorite. I don't know why it is. One of my favorite pay-per-views was Beast from the East. How amazing was that? You know, it was the NXT match for me between Owens and Finn Balor. It was absolutely insane, and I was sitting there watching it, going, "Why can I not do that more often?"
Yeah. Well, they're looking to do NXT. Is it India? India's on the cards.
Yes, that's coming up soon, isn't it? Could Jinder go back down to NXT? Who knows? They're going to need him, aren't they?
He fought Seth Rollins for the first ever NXT title, didn't
he? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Seth beat him for the NXT for the first ever time.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it was about fucking 7 odd years ago, that wasn't it? I can't remember.
We won't clip this for Twitter just in case we're wrong.
Yeah,
no, I'm telling you, I'm telling you now.
So
Cesaro,
what do you think? Oh, go on. Yeah.
Sorry, Cesaro, Stuart. For the third time in one show, we agree on Cesaro. Cesaro is an incredible talent. He is not underrated. He's not underrated when millions of people say that he's underrated. That doesn't make sense. Logic dictates that if millions of people think you're the best thing since fucking sliced bread, you ain't underrated because everyone rates you. You know, he's an incredible talent, but he does not have what it takes to be the top guy. Put Cesaro next to Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre. He ain't a star. He's a very, very good mid-carder. He would be very, very good in AEW. He would be the top guy in New Japan, where it's more about the talent. But the guy can talk in very short sound bites. I can't see him carrying a whole promo. No, it would be like fucking Roman and Cena back when Roman still couldn't cut a promo. It'd just be embarrassing. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's why they put him with Sheamus, wasn't it, in the bar?
And also, his nipples are too big as well.
Massive, isn't they?
Yeah.
Fucking saucers.
I keep going like, oh, he's ripped, and look at his nipples, and I'm like, nah.
We're clipping that.
Yeah, can we tag him in that one? Yeah. So what do you think it means for Otis beating Shinsuke so clean?
Oh shit! Yeah, we were talking about Otis, weren't we?
I love Otis. I love Otis. I love him. But just anyone else but Nakamura. I love Otis, but anyone else.
I love Otis too.
For me.
I love Otis, but I don't care. I just don't care. He's been booked so badly. He's an afterthought. I forget he's on TV. For fuck's sake, he's with Chad Gable. who has been an afterthought for years. Let's just put two afterthoughts together and see what happens.
I just wish Mandy was still with him.
Yeah.
And I think
It would make
a bit
more sense.
bit more of a desire to watch him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because she made him relevant. You know, as great as Otis is, and he's funny, and he's got that character, and he was the most charismatic part of Heavy Machinery. Nobody really cared until Mandy and Sonya and Dolph and the Hacker and that whole thing. It was fucking incredible. It was literally must-watch TV.
Yeah.
I did not.
And then when they won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they had the kind of the clips where they were in the swimming pool together and all that kind of thing. It just worked. It worked. But WWE being WWE, just I don't know. They just think, you know what, that's working too well. Let's change it.
Let's put her on Raw and put her with Dana Brooke. That'll get people watching.
And another stupid tag team.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So moving on to that, we've got another bury. Apparently, Bayley this week buried Bianca Belair by beating her on SmackDown. What do you think about that, guys?
How dare a wrestler lose a match? How dare they?
And not only lose a match, but lose to literally the woman of the year. How very dare
He was
they?
only recently, like a month ago, dropped the title and held it for like the best part of the year. Bayley was incredible this year. Being in a program with her can only do good things for Bianca. Bianca is the next big thing. We all know it.
I think Bianca's going to win Royal Rumble.
Yeah, she should do. She's incredible. She's absolutely incredible. Look what she did at the last Rumble when she didn't even win it. She was Mrs. Royal Rumble that year, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She had an incredible showing. So...
it's obviously not over, is it? It's obviously not over. That's what people.
Because Bayley didn't even win clean. She raked her eyes. There you go. So they'll have a rematch next week. Bianca will probably do the same thing back, grab the tights, whatever. Match at the pay-per-view, whatever's after TLC. That'll be Rumble now, won't it? Rumble next, yeah. So they'll probably come face to face in the Rumble, and she'll eliminate Bayley.
Yeah.
There you go.
It
writes itself.
Yeah,
it writes itself. People just fucking love that word burial, and they don't understand what it means.
No.
Tell you what, other words they don't other mean is push. When they say I want to give someone a push.
Yeah. They just want everybody pushed.
Oh, they're going to. He's been pushed to the moon. No, he's not. He's just been given like 5 minutes of TV time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not. I generally meant that push, by the way, nothing else.
I can't hear the word anymore. It's lost all meaning.
It really has. So
I got thumbs down for that.
Oh no.
This week, quite randomly, with like 2 days to go, WWE also announced that Fiend and Randy Orton. I think they announced it actually on SmackDown. A bit weird.
Is that not? Did they do that on Monday?
No, because he
it,
buried it, and then it came out, and then that's when it ended. The show ended with him getting the So it's going to be a Firefly Inferno match. I think my concern with this is they're going to go cinematic when it makes more sense just to have a match like they did Undertaker and Kane. That's my thoughts.
Yeah,
I hate that match.
Undertaker and Kane.
No, Kane and MJF. MJF MVP.
What the fuck are you watching? Yeah, the Kane MVP one wasn't very good.
That was woeful, but Undertaker and Kane, it made sense. It made sense.
Oh yeah, it made sense. Anything with those two together makes sense.
Yeah, so but because it's the Firefly Inferno match, you know for the fact it's just going to be a cinematic match, and I think a big part of what they're doing here is just trying to make up for the absolutely goddamn travesty that was the Orton Bray Wyatt.
The House of Horrors.
The House of Horrors.
The fucking match of horrors. Yeah, it was bad.
I didn't like it.
I don't know. I think I've got the same concerns as you. And where was Alexa there this week?
No, but I've got a feeling, is this where she goes full Sister Abigail?
Yeah.
She goes full.
So in the cinematic.
Yeah, because I think Randy's going to take some time off as well after this. I think.
He'll need to.
Yeah,
he should do. Yeah, he should
do. He's done brilliant. He's done brilliant this year.
And I think he's going to come back, and he might come back at the Rumble, and you never know, Edge might make his appearance and eliminate him again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that sets up their Mania match. Yeah, the Rumble match.
To their Mania, Edge 2. So what are you thinking? Do you think it's a good match? Do you think it's needed? Do you think they could have just kept a simple match?
I think it's got potential because see their cinematic matches recently, apart from the Swamp match, they've been brilliant. They've been good. They've been fun.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank, especially the Boneyard match. I keep going on about that, but I just love that match. Anything with Bray Wyatt just now works. Anything else just works for me. And you know, you're looking at. We talked about it last week. Randy Orton's probably the best he's been in his career. You know, and Bray obviously is just absolutely. He's just incredible. For me, cinematic in that light cannot go wrong. That's just my opinion. Watch this; it'll be shite, but you never know. You know, you never know. But I genuinely think it should be good. I think they're going to. I think they're going to come back to the whole Sister Abigail burning down, all that kind of stuff. It'll be cool. I like when they do that. I like when, you know, they always say in wrestling that WWE or whoever's got the shortest memory because, you know, people have feuds and the next month they're together and, you know, none of that happened, blah, 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 blah. But I like when they come back to stuff from years ago. I think that's quite good. You know, it kind of gives you that whole different dimension of ways to look at feuds.
Yeah, it makes it a bit more personal.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt's great at it as well, isn't he? Especially, you know, with the pictures on the wall and stuff. Every time it's just changed into a feud he's had or, you know, has been involved with in the past. It's perfect for him. So what do you think?
It depends. I think it just depends on exactly how they execute it. You know, there's a few different ways that could go. It could just be a traditional match within the Funhouse. There could be a ring within the Funhouse. We don't know what to expect. That's the beauty of Bray Wyatt. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If it's as cinematic as his match against Cena at WrestleMania, yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see him like dipping into all the things that Randy Orton's done in the past, like you say, burning down Sister Abigail's hurt and the House of Horrors match, or the people that he's punted, kicking Foley down the stairs, kissing Stephanie with Triple H handcuffed there in front of him, RKO and Stacey Keibler.
Yeah. You could have literally that again with the dummy of Undertaker.
If they dip into all that, could be brilliant. I don't see any reason why it won't be great.
No,
considering the talent that are in the match, and I think, like Stuart said, they've had a really checkered history, the two of them together, and they've only had bad matches, which is a shame considering who is in that match. So they are going to want to go out there and make up for that.
It'd be quite cool if Randy Orton did that to Bray. You know, go through his history.
Yeah, and it would work. Having someone like Randy Orton doing it would work. It would make sense, you know, because he's twisted and he's, you know.
I still think it's going to end up, obviously, with the burning of the house that they did in the last one. It's probably going to end up in that house again. Randy turns around, that house is there, he goes in. As you said, Alexa Bliss is standing there as Sister Abigail, and that's where you lead into, obviously, Bray coming out as the Fiend and getting the win.
But the joys of this, though, is this will be mainly watched on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Which is
so you'll know.
You'll know. And they could be going, what the fuck are they talking about? Or they could be going, they have got like a crystal ball, you know what I mean? More likely to be the first one.
So, right, we'll move on to many people's show of the year, NXT, consistently performing, consistently doing well. And obviously Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly faced off this week. We had brief interference by, I think, Fandango were in there.
It's fucking mental. The opening of the match was
brilliant, wasn't it? Adam Cole, everyone was in there fighting off, and then it left Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly, and what a match with Kyle O'Reilly coming out with the win. What do you think of that, boys?
Yeah, incredible. Two proven workers just beating the literal shit out of each other. That's what I like to see. I like a bit of old school. Let me just punch you in the face. It's gonna hurt. You know, I love Pete Dunne. Love Pete Dunne. Love Pete Dunne. I want to see him versus Timothy Thatcher.
If you've never watched, by the way, Pete Dunne against no. I was going to say, if you never watched Pete Dunne against Walter at NXT Brooklyn, was it Brooklyn? That's just
incredible.
You know, that is just a hard-hitting match. Like they must have walked in.
He's never had a bad match, has he? Pete Dunne? I don't think I've ever heard.
Or Walter, to be fair. No, neither of them have.
I think I'm a huge fan of Pete Dunne, you know, and I just think he is the epitome of how British wrestling really is. Just, you know, not flamboyant, not delicate, just absolute brutality.
Same with Danny Burch, man. I love Danny Burch for the same reasons.
You're walking away with a red chest and a sore head. That's how you're walking away from that match, regardless. Another one as well is Tyler Bate. Let's not forget that I just think
he's currently, for me, Tyler Bate is the best British wrestler in the world.
He's a stud. He's just, what is he, 24, 23,
Will Ospreay,
24?
obviously, as well. He's up
25,
there.
26, 27, 28.
No, I generally think he's 23, 24. But going back to Dunn, it's only a matter of time until Pete holds the NXT title.
Yeah,
I hope so.
So when you get that, it's just going to be a pinnacle that he's going to be standing there, NXT, out his teeth, in his teeth, sorry, picturesque.
I mean, that's what's brilliant about him. I think every time you've watched him even come out like on Raw when he had the NXT UK title, I mean, even the crowd knows who he is. And even if they don't know who he is, they cheer because they know there's just something about him.
To be fair, though, they did that in Manchester.
Yeah.
Because they knew that he'd get that reaction. I don't know if he would get that reaction on a general episode of Raw.
No, he did. He came out on Raw a few times. Over in the,
oh, did he? Good.
Yeah. And it was all around the Survivor Series type of stuff.
He was in the Rumble last year as well, was he?
He was in the Rumble, yeah, and he got cheered there. He's just, and now especially, he's took that time off during lockdown. He's come back.
By the way, he is ripped. Absolutely
jacked.
But he's also, if you've noticed, he's kind of lost that caveman look. That makes, they had to. He's kind of just more like, I want to kick your ass.
Yeah. And obviously, talking about Kyle now faces Finn Balor at New Year's Evil. Second match on the cards. I don't know if it can help Kyle, but if it's goodbye, as we'll go on to later, maybe the whole of UE is actually leaving.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we needed to see that match again so soon. Their last match was incredible, and they both ended up injured for it. We didn't see Finn for like a month. I just don't think we need to see it again. That might just be my bias towards Pete Dunne, though, being from my neck of the woods. I fucking love him, and I think he deserves that chance.
He'll get it though after this, won't he? He's got to.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I don't know. I think NXT just they're in a weird position now where they've done what the main roster does so often. They've booked themselves into a bit of a corner because really, who the fuck's taking the title off Karrion Kross once he gets it?
Yeah.
There ain't many people there that are going to take it. Maybe Damian Priest. I don't know, because Kross ain't going to be down in NXT for long. He's going to be main roster bound by I would say maybe mid next year.
I think once
towards the end.
So he's going to do the next Keith Lee where he wins it and then just comes straight up after that.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think with NXT just now, you look at the roster, there's not a real leader like an Adam Cole, which I know he's still there now. But remember the times where it was like your Kevin Owens and the Nakamuras and your Samoa Joes, and I mean that was absolutely stacked. Okay, fair enough, they moved on, but now it's a bit different. Now you've got to think about it different. It's not really a move up to the main roster, because NXT is its third brand.
Yeah,
it depends which show you go to. I think SmackDown is probably a step up. Raw, sort of a step sideways, maybe even a step back.
Yeah, at the moment.
I think if you look at any NXT superstar that's moved on to SmackDown, they've progressed. Yeah. If you look at them, look at Raw. I honestly think Raw is just as a graveyard right now for NXT.
Yeah, I struggle to think of anyone outside of Finn. Obviously, Finn debuted on Raw and won the fucking Universal title, so he had that big push.
How different, like, would be if he didn't get injured, eh? How different, like,
I was going to say, but then he came back from when he got absolutely buried.
Yeah.
I mean, using Kevin that word again, buried.
Kevin Owens has, consistently won titles over the years, but he got buried when he was Universal Champion. They fed him to Goldberg.
Yeah.
It only lasts so long. I think coming back to what you said about NXT not really having a leader, fucking hell, 4 times. I completely agree. They have just got the same old faces, and that's becoming very main roster, because for years and years we complained, it's always Roman, it's always Brock, it's always Seth. At the minute, it's always Cole, it's always Gargano, it's always Ciampa. They've got good talents waiting in the wings. I fucking love Cameron Grimes. Big fan of Cameron Grimes. Big fan of Dexter Lumis. Yeah, he's out till February time. Big fan of Priest, big fan of Lumis, but I don't know if these guys are good enough to carry NXT.
No, I think obviously Cole has been kept off TV for that exact reason. I think they only brought him back solely for War Games. Previous to that, he wasn't really on the show. It was just Kyle. But you're right. And I think we just need to see kind of what the future holds for NXT. We'll move on to, you spoke about it before, Karrion Kross's return. How do you feel about that? Do you think it was needed? Do you think he could have skipped it all together and actually gone just straight to the main show? Because as you said, what's he going to do while he's there? He's come back from injury yet. He's facing Judas Priest. Bit weird. Not really needed, to be honest.
I'm glad that he hasn't come straight back in and just won the title, though. glad that they haven't done that, because that doesn't devalue the title, but it fucking devalues Finn Balor, who has been pretty consistently devalued over the years.
Listen, anytime you see Scarlett,
yes,
I'm bored.
Yeah, man.
She can go anywhere. She can go anywhere she likes. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see when it moves to that. Obviously, moving on, because we want to keep this show consistent. We'll talk about Finn Balor. He put out a tweet. Deej, you want to talk about what he did? Because you've seen it, I haven't.
Yeah. It was. He posted a photo of him coming down on Samoa Joe, coup de grace from one of their many classics back in NXT, and he was in his full demon get-up, full demon face paint. So could be hinting towards maybe appearing soon, maybe appearing at New Year's Evil. I don't think he necessarily needs to. I think for me, it needs to be. I was at the image. Yeah,
Lawson's
that's the one. Spot on.
For all our podcast listeners.
The demon needs to be protected. The demon, obviously, he wouldn't lose. That's why it would be against someone like Kyle O'Reilly. But I think for me, I think he should only be the demon when he needs to be the demon. You know, when he's against like a bigger opponent, someone that's better than him, but he can't get past him, so he resorts to being the demon to get that win.
Yeah, he doesn't need it for Kyle, really. That should just be a match.
And that's no disrespect intended to Kyle O'Reilly. Incredible wrestler. I'm so pleased for him that he's had this. He actually has had a push. You know, I'm glad that he's had that push and he's shown what he's capable of.
Elevation. We'll say elevation.
He's been given. We'll think about that one.
He's been given.
I don't want to say that word. It feels like free advertising. It makes me sick.
They need that. They need that.
168 views or something.
He's been given a platform, a rise.
Yeah,
right, we'll go with platform from now on, and people will be like, what the fuck are they on about? So what were we saying before we started being dickheads there?
Oh no. I'm going to talk about
Finn Balor's great. I hope he's the demon and stuff. Yeah.
At some point.
I'm gonna agree with these this time. Here we go. The demon. I love the demon. I think it needs to be done at the right time. It needs to be done. It's kind of like the old Hulkamania when he was, that whole when he was hulking up.
Yeah.
You know, I love the whole idea of him. Like, you look at the matches he had. So he was a demon when he was against Seth Rollins for the Universal title.
Yeah,
that made sense because he needed that little bit of a push. I understand why he was the demon in the Beast from the East. Again, we're talking about that pay-per-view, but I love it. You know, I genuinely do like that. I don't think it needs to be done. Has he been a demon since he came back to NXT?
No, he recently said in an interview that the demon was gone. He said he wouldn't do him again, but is that just all to eventually show up and surprise?
Smoke and mirrors,
smoke and mirrors. He said it doesn't fit with his character anymore.
I would love the Demon versus the Fiend. I would love that.
That'd be amazing. You could do
that would just be.
Well, remember we very nearly got some sort of that, didn't we? When there was that mumps outbreak across the company. It was meant to be. Do you not remember when it was advertised as demon, but he looked like fucking Tony the Tiger because he was all like orange and black stripes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
was against,
I think so, yeah.
Was it SummerSlam? It was whatever event Bray was replaced by AJ. We ended up getting Finn versus AJ, didn't we, instead?
Oh, I remember because Finn was the first ever person that the Fiend took on.
Yeah.
And then we thought I genuinely thought at that point that it was the first defeat for the Demon because he was supposed to come as the Demon after it. After he got bombarded by the Fiend. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was.
All the promo leading up to it. I think it was SummerSlam. It would have been SummerSlam or Survivor Series. It was one of the big ones. Pretty sure it was SummerSlam.
It'd be SummerSlam because it came round about that after WrestleMania. I'm sure the Fiend came back.
I was really worried about that match because it was a weird demon that we hadn't seen before, and they had Bray basically just with like a fucking black veil over his head, like he was going to be Sister Abigail. It was really weird.
Yeah, I remember that.
Really weird. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But the Fiend that we have now, fucking hell yeah, that match is money. That's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
Put that at WrestleMania.
And put the NXT title on.
Yep.
Actually, don't bother because the Fiend doesn't. I've seen it.
Yes, you said that. You said that. You don't want that.
The Fiend doesn't need a title. Don't bother. Just put the Fiend.
So obviously talking about New Year's Evil, we found out this week that NXT are doing hosting for a lot of their shows now. I think they had it on the last one. I can't remember the Blackheart.
Halloween Havoc, yeah, Shotzi.
And now obviously Dexter Lumis is going to host New Year's Evil. What do you think about this hosting stuff? Do you think it's needed? I mean, they're filling the spot for Dexter while Cameron Grimes is injured. I get it, because obviously their feud is going to go on for about 17,000 years. But it's not needed, is it?
I hate hosting.
Nah,
I hate hosts.
Hate it. The only time it worked was when The Rock came back for WrestleMania 26.
Oh God, yes. Gives me goosebumps now even thinking about it.
Or Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 30. That was one time it really worked.
Fucking Silver Dome, Superdome.
Yeah.
There.
It worked, and then I tell you why it doesn't work, right? And I'm going to use New Day as an example. WrestleMania 33.
Okay, right, I'm listening. Go on.
WrestleMania 33. You've got the table, the TLC match.
Yeah.
For the Raw Tag Team titles. New Day, who are a tag team, are coming out to say we're going to bring in another tag team. Why would you put yourself in that scenario? Don't get me wrong, the pop for the Hardys was unbelievable, all that kind of stuff. But I just that's what I mean by host. I just don't like it. And then WrestleMania 36, where you had Grok or whatever his bloody name is. I hate him.
Gronk, it was garbage.
Can't stand him. I just think hosting does not need to happen.
No.
It's good maybe in the occasional sporadic 5-year, 10-year occasions, but not every...
For the big WrestleManias, the 25, the 30, the 35.
Yeah, exactly. That works. Or if you've got a big name to do it, like The Rock, like Stone Cold, like Hulk Hogan, like, I don't know, big people to do it. But I just...
We're all big fans of Alexa Bliss here for more reasons than just the one. But when she hosted WrestleMania,
that was awkward.
She came out like 3 times. She had that opening bit with
Hulk Hogan. She never came out. He never came out. Remember, it was like, and Hulk Hogan is like 5 seconds, 10 seconds later, he eventually comes out.
She just did a couple of really awkward backstage promos. I think there was one with a tag team. It might have been Mojo and Zack Ryder or something like that, or FTR at the time. It was just a chance for Alexa to wear a couple of nice dresses. That's literally what it felt like. It was unnecessary.
She was injured though at that point. She was injured.
Yeah,
so
she was
injured.
It was to give her something to do.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, if what's going to be WrestleMania 37, so say for instance WrestleMania, I don't know, 40, they had John Cena to do it.
Yeah.
That would make sense because, huge name and all that kind of stuff. But to do it on just a throwaway episode, it's not even a real pay-per-view.
Especially when, for me, Dexter Lumis, what's the point of having a host who just looks at the camera?
He doesn't talk, he just pretends to draw pictures. I don't even remember, other than New Day introducing the Hardys return, I don't even remember them hosting.
No, I think they had some backstage segments, I think, but that was about it.
They're 3 of the most charismatic guys in the whole company that the company's ever had.
Did they all come out in a cereal box? Was that not the same?
Yes, yeah, they did.
Did they?
And they were all dressed up in... And they were all dressed up in like Final Fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the same WrestleMania, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of hosts.
No, unless it makes
sense.
It
reminds me of the old Raw where it was. Remember they had like Jerry Springer on 1 week, and then they had the 18.
Yeah.
Then they
Hugh
had
Jackman.
The 18.
I didn't mind Hugh Jackman because actually he was involved. He actually he punched. Was it not Ziggler? And like really knocked him out.
He had a match, didn't he?
Yes.
I don't mind that. But it was one where I can't remember what it was, but they got something. They didn't know where they were or who they were or nothing. They didn't know a thing.
And things like Pee Wee Herman and really weird ones, really random ones.
Did they not have the boy from?
Napoleon Dynamite was on there as well.
Now, was it not Barker that Bob Barker they had? He was, and then Chris Jericho. That was good. Yeah. That was all right but then. When people want to be there, that's different.
But didn't Jericho have like a feud with them leading up to being on the show? So
Jericho talks about still now that he was the best Raw host.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, yeah, I guess what we're saying no to Dexter.
Yeah.
But we'll obviously see what they can do with it.
Because what I mean by that though is if that's now this is the second main Wednesday NXT since. So this is the first one, since Halloween. Yeah. So does that mean the next one they're going to get another host? And does that mean the next one they're going? Is it going to be a continuous?
So.
Exactly.
Why bother? Because at one point you could have a line of what we thought was going to happen with this show. We had fantastic guests at the start, and then we're thinking, Is this going to continue? Obviously, I get good people on the show, like we have next week with Kenny King. But anyway, what I mean by that though is eventually, like they're going to be a case where it's going to look like a Raw host, and it's just going to be stupid.
Yeah, again.
Not that our guests are going to be stupid, by the way, just to clarify.
And we will host it. We're putting it out there. It's our house.
All it is, and we know what it is. We know why they do it. It's just counter programming. It's something a bit different. It's like, oh, we're going to do Halloween Havoc, and you're like, okay, cool. So it'll be Halloween for you. Oh, and we're going to have a host, and then you're a bit more like, oh, okay, something could happen. Something special could happen. Maybe there's going to be more surprises or big pops or returns or something. And then doing the same thing with New Year's Eve or the first show in the new year. And I don't agree with it, but I know why they do it.
No, I don't, because see Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, all she did was spin the wheel, and it was clearly automated to stop when it needed to stop anyway.
But you didn't need it with Halloween Havoc. It's the first time it's been around since WCW.
Yeah.
Just like that's the joys of NXT. They're bringing back these pay-per-view names and that, and they are making the effort. They don't need a host.
No,
like it's the New Year's Eve. It's the first show in the new year. They shouldn't need a host. It should be they should like. I'll go to AEW here, and I'm going to piss you right off, right? I don't give a fuck. AEW are not doing that. Why should they be doing that?
Yeah, they've got a special show.
Oh, they've
on the same night.
Oh, with Snoop being on commentary.
It's like something Bash, isn't it? New Year's Bash or something like that.
Well, that's what I mean. But they're not getting a host though. They don't need a host because the name is big enough as itself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't.
I know. I can tell you exactly why NXT are doing something big, or what they think is big for their first show of the year. It's because they fucked up this year at the start of the year, first show of the year, and they literally did a recap. It was a pre-recorded recap show, and I think they got something like 400,000 or 500,000 compared to NXT's like 900,000, whatever it might have been. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think they're just trying to make up for what they did at the start of this year.
Is Snoop actually on AEW that day? Is it the third? Or is
I think that's the one that he's on, the 6th.
No, he's on day 2, isn't he? I think he's on day 2. That's the one after.
I don't know why I'm saying the third. I don't know why I'm saying the third. Because New Year's on a Friday.
Jericho's on the first one. Chris Jericho's on the first one as a co-commentator.
I thought Snoop was on the second. Anyway, are they trying to counteract on that? Are they just doing the usual WWE and think, oh shit, they're doing something as well?
Probably.
Here's an interesting thing. Do you think Sasha could be not punished because it's not her fault, but obviously her cousin Snoop done a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's going over. Might just be a one-time thing appearing on AEW, but they just so happen to have, in time for this, taken down the Undertaker Snoop Dogg collaborative merch.
Yeah.
Could Carmella win the title off of Sasha?
Nah, I'll tell you
punishment.
I'll tell you why as well, because that came out not that SmackDown, the SmackDown previous. And Sasha Banks came out, and I noticed, on the right hand side of the screen, they give you kind of a few things about that person.
Yeah, it said Snoop Dogg.
It still says Snoop Dogg.
Oh, it still said it.
And that was after the confirmation of Snoop's.
And the music's still him, minute.
Yeah, yeah.
She comes out to. So if they had that,
don't like a new music.
Deal, I love her new music. Anyway, we'll end on something that's near and dear to my heart. He's the competitor of NXT, been mentioned a few times here, the face of the show with the UE, Adam Cole. Fox recently tweeted, "What's next for Adam Cole with all his NXT accomplishments? Does this mean Adam Cole and the UE could be heading towards SmackDown?"
AEW is going to go over with Brett Barker. He's going to meet up with her, and he will. If he does, I'd love it.
He won't. I honestly, I just don't think. I think there's too much money in it. I think.
No, I don't think if that was the case, Fox wouldn't have tweeted it anyway. Yeah. But no, you know what? It would make sense because we've just said it before. SmackDown need another A-list name over there because they really do only have Seth, who's obviously off just now through maternity or paternity, whatever you want to call it. Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, but apart from that, they don't have a real.
Daniel Bryan is the only other one, isn't he? But he's part-time already now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, their relationship, Britt and Adam, it doesn't hurt either of them, if you know what I mean. Because Britt, obviously, she was in the crowd. She was the camera panned to her, didn't she, at War Games when Ciampa dropped Cole down. We've seen loads of photos of Cole being backstage at AEW events and at their pay-per-views.
He's also been mentioned on commentary as well.
Yeah. There was a minute after that, wasn't it? Twitter was going mental.
And neither of them have been punished or buried or any of that bollocks. That, you know, they've both been fine. Cole's still one of the top guys. Britt is probably still the top woman.
Yeah, it might not be the same. It might not be the same level, but look at Brandy Lauren and Joe Janela.
Yeah,
they're both on each other's Instagrams. You know, there's the AW NXT thing. You know, it's happening. It's wrestling. These things happen. Who cares? Move on.
Yeah, they can coexist. They don't need to be on the same show.
No.
But is it purely, though, as we've said before, is it because Vince is in control of that? I think once that goes to the main roster, will Vince not maybe have an issue with it, but subliminally then just start to punish him slowly as a result of it?
I think.
Would WWE on Fox even tweet that if there was the remotest chance of him going to AEW?
No, definitely not. Once he's come to SmackDown, what I'm saying is that, you know, if AEW do start to smash the numbers and Britt Baker becomes a big part of this.
If he was on Raw, I'd agree with you, but he's on SmackDown, no.
Yeah.
I genuinely think Fox have got a real big say. And Vince has to really take. I think with Raw, obviously USA and WWE have been together for what, decades.
Yeah.
So Vince has kind of got that whole, you know, I'll take control of the scenario, and this is what I'm going to. This is what I'm going to be showing you. But with the amount of money Fox have put into the contract that we said at the start, I genuinely think Fox have got a say in what has to be said and what's been done. In SmackDown, and I genuinely think if that was the case, and they were going to try and, you know, bury Adam Cole, I don't think Fox would allow that. That's my opinion.
I'm with you.
I agree.
Do we think UE are going to come with him, or do you think he's going to be a soul?
I don't know.
I'd like. You know what I said? I'd like Pete Dunne to take over UE. I'd like something.
Yeah, maybe.
I think if you bring UE up into the main roster, they're going to get forgotten about, and eventually they'll just be crumbling away. Yeah. They'll get dismantled, and then it'll be forgotten about. If they stay in the NXT as maybe another leader or something like that, then, you know, what was it I said? Remember, Chris? I said to you, we were messaging. I said that Adam Cole would. What was it? I can't remember. Adam Cole would jump in with the Pete Dunne thing. Come on, just carry on.
I think you were on about. I think we were talking about how, like, obviously Pete Dunne and Roddy Strong were a tag team, and then he betrayed Pete Dunne and joined the era. So we could maybe see sort of like a reverse of that, which I'd be totally down for. As coming back to Pete Dunne, as we were saying before, massive fan.
I just couldn't see Pete Dunne doing this though.
No, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
I couldn't see him do that every week. My concern for Cole is I think he has to come as part of Era up to SmackDown, because Cole is a top guy. Yeah.
Put him next to Roman, especially the current day Roman that we're getting, he ain't got a fucking chance in hell. Because it doesn't matter what Fox want, still at the end of the day, Roman is the top guy. He's the face of the company. Even as a heel, he's still doing all your make-a-wishes. He's still doing all your, you know, doing all these things to make kids happy and being a solid, good guy. He is still above Drew as the top number one guy in the company. Adam Cole, is it going to hurt him? Would it hurt Adam Cole being placed in a program with Roman? Because he wouldn't have a fucking chance in hell. It could work, however, if he had Undisputed Era going after Roman.
Yeah.
You know, or Undisputed Era going after Roman with Jay and Jimmy once Jimmy's back. That's must-see TV for me.
Yeah, that'd be great. Do
you really think OReilly and that have got the name power to do that?
I mean, my concern is Bobby Fish. He gets injured more than he steps in the ring these days. I think that's
well, I mean, do you really see those four?
I think Kyle O'Reilly does. I think Kyle O'Reilly does purely because of what is getting pushed for him now. But I think you're right with Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. Do they have that? Probably not. I think Roderick's getting lost completely at the moment, and he's such a good talent. He was brilliant at War Games. But I think when it comes to Fish, I mean, he's at that age now anyway where he might not just wrestle that much anymore going forward.
But compare that to Hurt Business, because obviously Lashley is the top guy in Hurt Business, but Shelton Benjamin is a veteran, but he's been forgotten about for like the last 10 years. Cedric Alexander's been booked horrendously in his entire WWE run up until just now. So, you know, those guys not exactly being big names, I don't think it would hurt them. I think that could be why we've been seeing Kyle O'Reilly get his push recently. Maybe they are getting ready and they're conscious of the fact that we need to get these names out there a little bit more, build them up a little bit more, because everybody knows Strong, everybody knows Fish. We know them as multiple time NXT tag team champions, the best tag team champions that NXT have ever had, non-stop putting on 5-star classics against Mustache Mountain, Birch and Orton, Street Profits. Doesn't matter who they've faced, they've always put on incredible matches, but they wouldn't be the focal point of Undisputed Era. It would still be, you'd have like Adam Cole as the top, like the leader, and then Kyle O'Reilly as his main henchman. I think it would center around those two, and then people would get to know Fish and Strong as a product of that.
It could also be why they've turned them all face as well. It could have been leading all the way up to this point to them come in and attack Roman. It could be.
But do you think?
But inevitably, Roman will squash the whole faction at some point.
He'll kill a lot of them, especially if he's not.
He just will.
If they did do that, and this is going to sound weird, but see when Shield came in, remember when they first came in, they weren't really everyone's tip of the tongue household names, and they kind of had to tell about their background in NXT. Would you have to do the same again on Undisputed Era, do you think?
I don't think so, purely because if you look at your diehard fans are going to watch SmackDown. I think that we know that's why it's getting its pull. I think SmackDown gets the NXT audience too. I think a lot of them watch that show.
Exactly.
And the fact that NXT
is on USA Network.
Yes, and they're very smart with their merchandise sales, and the fact that UE have a new T-shirt literally every month, they're selling. They're selling very, very well. So I think if that faction comes up, I don't think it's going to do anything but grow. I think, as you write these, I think the problem is if Roman has that title, do you put them straight away into a program? Probably not.
Yeah, and the thing for me is, and I hate to say this, it makes more sense to put them on Raw because Raw need that boost. NXT fans are passionate. NXT fans are, they're protective over their brand, over their show. NXT is the best thing since sliced bread, and it really is. It's so much better than Raw. You put 4 of the best guys from NXT on Raw, NXT fans start watching Raw. They start watching that Raw show that they shit all over every week. Yeah. I would tune into Raw if Era went there. I would watch it every week without fail, especially if, like I say, they went up against someone like the Hurt Business.
Well, it could bring it,
or Retribution.
But when they bring in Ricochet.
Yeah, and it could also bring a full circle though with Adam Cole and Drew, because they never got to face off.
That'd be nice.
They never got to face off.
I know, because Adam Cole arrived when Drew won the NXT.
He took him out, and then Drew got injured, didn't he? And then he was taken off the shelf, so it could bring a full circle. Anyways, boys, I think that's been a good week of review in wrestling. I think there's a lot.
Not enough AEW.
Not enough. We'll have a whole episode. If you want it, let us know. We'll clip this bit out. If you want it, comment. We'll let these just sit here for an hour and a half and just slate it, and then Lawson to come on for 5 minutes and say why he's wrong. But if you want to, Chris, do you want to push all our social media and your own?
So mine is at PWCDs. We are now across all social media. We are at It's Our House Pod. It's been fixed on Instagram. It's not podcast anymore. So wherever you look, It's Our House Pod, you will find us on all of those main platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, and YouTube, obviously.
And all our podcasts, all you got to do is search for It's Our Pod. And as we said before, the profile picture has now changed to Hurricane Helms, or whatever he was called.
Hurricane Dead.
I can't find that. Hurricane
Lawson,
Dead.
There we go. Lawson, do you want to mention your social media?
Yeah, so for me, it's slawson1417. That's slawson1417. And then I want to push next week.
Yep.
Even though I kind of have.
Yeah.
So
elevate. You want to elevate next week.
Raise. Give it a platform.
So next week we're going back to the Ring of Honor theme. We're going for it, and I'm genuinely excited. We have got TNA, former X Division champion, 2-time Ring of Honor World Television champion, and Ring of Honor Tag Team champion, Mr. Kenny King. genuine.
Yeah,
Like
the Kenny
Buzzing
King.
for this one.
The
Yeah.
Kenny
Kenny
buzzing.
King. Like we keep saying names getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you
Yeah.
know, and that, no disrespect, because they're all great. They're all great. Kenny King's going to be superb, and he's got there's so many questions we could ask Kenny.
Yeah, I mean,
So let us know. Let us know what you want us to ask Kenny.
Yeah, let us know. Just
man.
comment on our tweets, comment on our Instagram, comment on our Facebook. Let us know. Comment on YouTube on this video. Comment on our podcast platforms. But remember, everyone, I think we're near close to 1,000 on Twitter. We're on nearly 6,000 on Instagram. We're over 100 on Facebook. We're on 204 at the moment on YouTube. Please subscribe. It really helps us out. It really helps the channel. Give us a like, comment, download our podcasts on Spotify, Google, Apple Pods, all those platforms. We're on every single one. And another shout out to Mystery Wrestling Shirts. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Head on over, buy some shirts. Quote IOH Pod 10. It's our house Pod 10.
There we go.
So much easier. But yeah, code IOH Pod 10 for 10% off on all of your orders. I got a Boss Keith Lee one. There was Orange Cassidy, Eddie Edwards. You know, just the list goes on and on and on. Lawson will never wear it because it looks like a Celtic t-shirt, but that's like
Correct. There's one the cup today as well.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Faz's Thoughts. But as always, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love you both. Lawson, enjoy the rest of your trip before you get into lockdown from Wee Willy Wonka.
Guys, have a fucking great Christmas, by the way.
Yes, everyone.
Of course.
Have a great Christmas. We love
Merry
you all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Enjoy.
Merry Christmas for that one day that you're allowed to enjoy now.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's 1 day or 5 days. That's COVID stays away on the 25th of December.
Apparently so. Just enjoy.
Cough on whoever you want on Christmas Day. Breathe on all of your loved ones. Who cares?
I'm cutting this bit out. I love you all. See you guys in the next one.
Bye bye.